The morning silence at my Silver Creek ranch was shattered, not by a coyote, but by two patrol cars, sirens wailing down my private service road. I, Ethan Vance, had finally pitched my tent by the shore of my private lake, the crown jewel of my 800 acres, only to be greeted by the county sheriff. I stepped out of my tent, calm despite the absurdity. Two deputies approached, looking distinctly uncomfortable. "Mr. Vance?" the senior officer asked. "We've received a complaint of trespassing and unauthorized camping on Meadowbrook Estates property." "With all due respect, deputy," I said, pointing to the water's edge, "this lake and the 20 feet surrounding it are explicitly designated as Silver Creek Ranch, Vance Holdings LLC property. I assure you, I'm the owner." I handed him a crisp folder containing my deed, the recent survey, and a notarized aerial map. The deputies looked at the documents, then at the lake, and then at the nearby development line where pristine, million-dollar homes overlooked my water. Within 5 minutes, the officers apologized profusely. They had received 15 anonymous calls over the last 3 weeks regarding my trespassing. They left, clearly sensing a dispute far above their pay grade. The source of the harassment was obvious: Veronica Sterling, president of the Meadowbrook Estates, HOA. Her community, a sprawling testament to wealth and uniformity, abutted my older, rustic ranch land. My private lake was the only natural water feature for miles, and Veronica was determined to control it. I wasn't fighting a fence dispute. I was fighting an organized crime syndicate in Lululemon. The initial salvo of police calls signaled the start of my counteroffensive. Be ready with paperwork. I immediately filed a Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, request with the Sheriff's Department to obtain all complaint records. The result was damning. All 15 anonymous complaints originated from the same IP address linked to the Meadowbrook Clubhouse. 3 complaints were filed on days I wasn't even physically present on the ranch, proving clear fabrication and potential perjury. Google the enemy. A quick search of the Meadowbrook development plans showed their true intent. Their future amenity maps brazenly showed lakefront access and a community water feature over the exact location of my private lake. They weren't just harassing me. They planned to steal the water body itself. Conduct reconnaissance. The next few days, I noticed subtle signs of intrusion. Tire tracks led right up to my property line, and once by the dusty springhead, I saw distinct high heel marks. Veronica herself was trespassing, documenting my movements to fuel her harassment campaign. I immediately deployed trail cameras along the perimeter, focused specifically on the lake access points. 2 nights later, the surveillance paid off. The footage captured Veronica's adult son, Jeremy, sneaking onto the ranch. He slashed my camping tent, spray-painted my boat, and destroyed the dock ladder. Criminal destruction of property, documented in 4K resolution. This was no longer just civil harassment. It was felony vandalism. I hired a specialized property rights firm, Morrison & Associates, which quickly identified the case as a potential RICO conspiracy involving water theft and public corruption. Study the original deed, following an old, cryptic tip in my grandfather's journal about the heart of the ranch. I pored over the 1957 deed. My ranch wasn't just land. It was a fortress of rights. The deed explicitly conveyed surface rights, mineral rights, and underground water rights for a half-mile radius around the natural spring that fed the lake. Exposed water theft. Tracking the obscure water easements with the county clerk's office, the truth finally exploded. The Meadowbrook development, including every fountain, every swimming pool, and the entire high-end irrigation system, was illegally feeding off my family spring. They had built a multi-million-dollar community powered by stolen water. A quick calculation by my firm revealed the scale of the theft. The HOA had been illegally diverting and consuming an estimated $400,000 worth of water over the last 8 years. Veronica wasn't fighting for community access. She was fighting to conceal a massive, ongoing grand larceny operation. Further investigation revealed that Veronica was a secret co-owner of the development company that built Meadowbrook and she had been embezzling over $200,000 in HOA funds to pay for the endless legal and harassment campaign against me. The anonymous complaints, the vandalism, the police calls, it was all funded by the homeowners she pretended to serve. The time for documentation was over. I needed public exposure and federal intervention. Build a support network. I leveraged my retired firefighter status and the local VFW hall, building a robust support network. Local veterans helped set up an impermeable surveillance system and established a legal defense fund. We secured the attention of a regional investigative reporter. Launched legal firepower. Morrison & Associates filed a federal water rights lawsuit demanding $1.2 million in damages, plus immediate injunctive relief to shut off the stolen water supply, effectively cutting the water to the entire Meadowbrook development. Public exposure and arrest. The final battleground was the county commissioners' meeting. I presented the irrefutable evidence in a cold, methodical sequence. The 1957 deed, proving the water was mine and the HOA had no rights. The embezzlement records, showing Veronica was corruptly financing the harassment. The vandalism video, capturing her son's criminal destruction of property. The water flow data, proving the $400,000 water theft. The room erupted. Veronica tried to scream, "This is trespassing," but her voice was drowned out by the audible gasps of the commissioners. Before she could escape, 2 FBI agents and a deputy U.S. Marshal moved in from the back row. Veronica Sterling was arrested immediately and publicly for conspiracy, wire fraud, and federal racketeering statutes. The reign of the Meadowbrook HOA Karen was over, ended by a single, undeniable federal crime. The peace returned to Silver Creek Ranch, earned through strategic, calculated warfare. The federal injunction was granted instantly, and the water to Meadowbrook Estates was shut off, forcing the HOA to finally pay for its own water source. Veronica Sterling received a guilty verdict on multiple counts and was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison for racketeering and wire fraud. The corrupt officials who aided her were indicted. I had faced down the HOA on my own land and used their own legal and financial structures to destroy them. The trespassers were never me. They were the HOA all along. The final victory was the permanent peace of the ranch. The lake remains pristine, reflecting only the sky. I still camp by the water, but now the only visitors I receive are the local wildlife and the occasional respectful veteran stopping by to share a quiet cup of coffee. Tell me what you think. Veronica claimed her theft was justified because the water was unused. Was cutting off the entire development's water supply the only way to ensure justice was served? What is the most egregious example of HOA water theft you've ever heard of? Share your thoughts and let us know what loophole Ethan should exploit next.